Hey, gang, there are so many important issues to discuss in today's political, cultural, and economic climate, and I can't discuss them all here. In fact, YouTube and big tech won't let me talk about it all here. And that's why I have exclusive, uncensored live streams on Monday nights to cover everything. On Monday nights, I share all my thoughts and answer your questions in an in-depth, casual format that prepares you for this upcoming election with the truth. Today, I want to show you a quick clip from a recent stream that I hope will help you think clearly about these important issues, as well as encourage you to join our movement. Join an upcoming exclusive live stream, and I'll answer your questions by clicking the link in the description below and joining our community of courageous patriots building a parallel economy. I look forward to seeing you over there.
All right. Well, I've got lots of questions here from people wanting to know your opinion on the Obama film. Have you taken a look at that? It's called Leave the
Oh,
World
the Civil War one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, some are saying, this is the way the left is trying to prime their dwindling, dying demographic, their base for a potential civil war. I just think it's very interesting because Samuel Huntington, back in the early 90s, I think it was 93 when he published his Clash of Civilizations, Huntington theorized that the world we were entering into is going to become much more civilizational, much more nationalist, much more separatist, independence movements, secessionist movements, and the right Texits and all this kind of stuff. That's the world we're entering in. It's not a globalist world. That's falling apart as far as Huntington was concerned. We're going to go into a world where the major conflicts are going to be civilizational in nature. And of course, he seems to, one of the areas that he thought was a hotbed, of course, was Ukraine. So we are starting, and Taiwan. So we are starting to see something akin to that. Yugoslavia was already, the old Yugoslavia Baltic world was already beginning to explode at that time. So he believed that the war in the Baltics, the breakup of Yugoslavia, was going to be basically a micro paradigm for what we're going to see around the world. One of the things scholars have noticed is we're not seeing so much clash of civilizations outside of, yes, limited spheres like Ukraine or right now Israel, because Israel's in many ways a civilization state. We're not seeing so much of a clash of civilizations between nations as much as we're seeing clashes of civilizations within nations. And I think that's a very, very important observation. What we are seeing is the single most massive paradigm shift in 300 years, where we're moving from a modern globalist secular age to a postmodern, post-globalist, post-secular age. It's civilizational, conservative, traditionalist, and the like. And that paradigm shift is emblemized in really two classes of people. One class is the populist uprising that are embracing this postmodern, post-globalist, post-secular world. And then there's the establishment class that is doing everything they can to stop that world from rising, precisely because the modernist, globalist, secular world is the world where they've accumulated their power and their affluence. So they're trying to hold on to their power. This is the Uniparty, this is the DC crowd and the like. And so civil war is actually already sort of happening. There's just these two antithetical worlds that are increasingly clashing with each other. And the question is whether or not it's ever going to turn into a hot war. It seemed like it was going to in 2020, in the summer 2020, when you had the rise of BLM and the riots, the race riots in our cities throughout the nation, and patriot militias rose up in particularly rural areas and in suburban areas, and they were defending innocent people in a way that the police weren't being allowed to do because the big city mayors were telling the police stand down and basically let this lawlessness prevail. But first, gang, our good friend Mike Lindell needs your help. Mike is one of the strongest patriots working tirelessly for the America First and MAGA movements in this country, and also happens to be a very close friend to this channel, as you know. From election integrity to protecting American businesses, Mike really does it all. And now, as the cabal of deep state lawyers and election machine companies are trying to take Mike down with frivolous lawsuits, he needs your support more than ever. Mike recently said he was going to fight every lawsuit until he wins and will never settle out of court with people who help rig the election. So, with this in mind, I want to remind you about the incredible MyPillow deals Mike is offering with my promo code Turley. Now, if you just click on the link in my description below, you can save well over 60% on all sorts of incredible MyPillow products. Of course, Mike is offering huge savings on the new and improved MyPillow 2.0. But gang, I would also recommend hugely Mike's My Slippers, as well as his amazingly comfortable bed sheets. These are some of the comfiest slippers and sheets I've ever owned. In fact, I would use that word to describe all of MyPillow's products. Comfy to the maximum. So don't wait, gang. Support Mike as he fights for election integrity and get some extremely comfy things to boot. It's a win-win. Don't wait. Click on that link below or go to mypillow.com/Turley right now. So it looked like we were going to see, a bit more or less like gangs, inner city gangs and patriot militias clash. And there were a couple of those clashes, but it didn't escalate beyond that. So I think this it's a Netflix, if I recall this right.
Yep.
I think it's playing off of those kinds of civilizational dynamics where they recognize that their world is under attack like never before, and nothing they do seems to stop the MAGA, America First, Netherlands First, Sweden First, India First, Russia First forces. They can't stop this emerging civilizational, traditionalist, nationalist, secessionist world. I mean, we are living through, in many ways, a big, massive secession where more and more people are rising up and saying, we don't want the world as run by this managerial class of elites who rule for their own benefit at the expense of the values, interests, and concerns of the people. So I think the paradigm is there. I think everyone is seeing it. They may not understand the nuances of it, but clash, civil war seems to be a kind of inevitability. Whether it's a hot one is a whole different story, but there is certainly, somebody's going to win here. That's how paradigm shifts work. Paradigm shifts are a paradigm is a worldview, and a worldview, as long as this is Thomas Kuhn, the way he would explain it, as long as the anomalies, the things that don't make sense within that worldview, as long as they remain in the periphery and the central questions are all being answered and answered well, the paradigm is safe. It's solid. But the moment the anomalies come into the center, like post-security politics today, where border insecurities and economic insecurities, just like that John Fetterman was talking about, cultural insecurities, like we're seeing in just this insane unraveling of our culture, when those become front and center, a new worldview, a new paradigm naturally arises. And the old one and the new one are what Thomas Kuhn calls incommensurate. They can't blend together. But Thomas Kuhn says the new one always wins. The new one, at the very least, the old one begins to die out because it never overcomes the crisis of these anomalies that are at its center. Never overcomes it. So you've got to go into a new paradigm. We're going there. But as you guys know, it can be a very, very bumpy ride. I hope you enjoyed that clip of my Monday night Insiders Club live stream. Join us live next week by clicking on the link in the description below and joining the coalition of patriots worldwide building a parallel economy to return to our roots of faith, family, and freedom. Click below right now.